We are no longer physicians, we're providers.
Ask your baby's permission.
Gay people, you have become a product. Should auto insurance cover STD? Are you freaking kidding me? So you demean us. You don't get a parade for a sexual preference. To not hurt the feelings of somebody with a fraction of my training. That a beaver's ass presented this to the world. It's a natural flavor. But you are literally an ice cube in a martini shaker. Hello there. Good afternoon. It's pretty early. 3 o'clock. As you can see behind me, we have a bit of a dumping ground going on as we're happily doing some home renovations, making our Florida house actually feel like a home. It's pretty fun. And speaking of fun, we're going to have some fun topics today. I have experienced some new and fun experiences that I'm going to share with you. I'm sorry I'm flying solo today. May is a little bit under the weather, but she'll be back sooner than can be. Talk a little bit about some upcoming shows. We had a show drop today that was absolutely fantastic. Dr. Tyler Pansner, really looking deep into metabolic genetic mutations, how supplements, certain diets can absolutely revolutionize your health by looking at things a little bit differently using genetic analysis, which I think is absolutely fascinating. And I know it's been cold out there for a lot of you folks, but it's cold here too. It was 67 degrees today, so it was pretty cold, but I still went kiteboarding in the Great Gulf of America. Yes, the Gulf of America. It was awesome. The wind was pretty good, and I had to wear a wetsuit. All of us suffer in different ways, and I'm willing to take one for the team. So let's see if we can get some of this media to work and get into some interesting stories. There we go. Oh, yes. A lovely picture in Snowbird. I was in Snowbird a couple of weeks ago. It was really fun. Lots of sun. And I realized that after you get run over by a car and jam your knee into the pavement and then try to do your normal activities, things get weird. Thus, I had an MRI on my right knee yesterday, but I'm still going hard because there is no other way to do it. I'll probably end up with knee replacements sooner than later, but whatever it takes, man, you got to keep going. So as I said, I did something a little bit new, and I'll show you a picture here. It's definitely worth 1,000 words. I went and got my hair cut a week or so ago, and she's like, "Have you ever had your nose waxed?" So if you didn't see that, I'll describe it. They take wax, which should be better actually. I think a more apt description of what they put up your nose is Gorilla Glue, because it is staggeringly sticky. And I thought when she pulled on this stuff to pull it out, she was going to pull out my frontal lobes. But instead, what she produced was these little tiny globules of wax, this like maybe a centimeter by a half a centimeter. And the amount of hair on that was absolutely stunning. I'm like, that came out of my nose. Like, how is that possible? It looked like little tiny porcupines. And then she throws it in the garbage, and there's these little dead porcupines in the garbage. And I'm like, this must be what it's like to work at a porcupine abortion clinic. Or as I said when I was a kid, a porcupine, because it wasn't porcupine when you were a kid. It was porcupine. Like somehow they're little tiny porcine piggies. And you do breathe a little easier when you don't have an entire Douglas fir-sized tree forest in your nose. That's true. So that was crazy. And I think I'd do it again, but I almost want her to head in like a Hans device so it can't move, because she had to tug on it a couple times, and I would prefer just a single tug and then the little porcupines. So we'll see how that works out. All right, what do I have next for the next story? That one's for... Okay, this is a little bit disturbing. So a 19-year-old nurse was twerking over a disabled patient. She was a home care worker. And then she had the brilliant idea of not only videotaping herself doing this, but she should post it on TikTok, which got her arrested. Because actually, that's what should happen to people that do lewd things to disabled people, is you get arrested. So you go from trying to be a hero in social media to being arrested. And is there zero common sense in this world? I get it. Everyone thinks that the easy way to the top is to somehow be an influencer or whatever. Dude, buy lottery tickets. You're far more likely to become famous and rich by winning the lottery than you are going to by randomly getting something to go viral. It's people see this all the time. You only see the successful people on your social media feed. So don't keep doing dumber and stupider things to try to go viral, because you might go viral in a criminal setting because you got arrested for twerking over a patient. Again, can't really make this stuff up, but there you go. So what else is going on in the world? There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the world. I do have a fairly good meme of the day, which I like. And this one, and we'll get to that in a little bit. What was this story here? Oh, this is great. So you know that we're pretty big on carnivore and low-fat diets. We've had Sean Baker, Dr. Anthony Chafee on, as well as Dr. Annette Bosworth, who is really doing exceptionally well and helping a lot of patients with the keto diet. I think all this stuff is great. But again, every village needs an idiot. And of course, it just always ends up being in Florida. I'm not really sure exactly why that is. So some guy in Tampa ate so much butter and so much cheese and so much meat. I think it was probably the pure butter and the cheese. He was eating 6 pounds a day. Still losing weight, which is awesome. His metabolism must have been revved to the moon on all that fat. So much so that his cholesterol was 1,000 and he was oozing cholesterol through the palms of his hands. They had pictures of his hands, and in his little palm creases, it was essentially gravy. So this guy turned his blood type to gravy, which, what do you think of it? That took some effort. The ability to eat that much fat, that you turn your blood to gravy and it's oozing out of your skin. I wonder what that's like for meeting women. You go to the bar. Oh, what's that in your hands? Oh, I've turned my blood to gravy. I have gravy blood now. It's still red, but it has a hint of KFC. It's, yes, part of the carnivore diet and keto for weight loss is that because you're eating tons of fat, you get less hungry. So you should eat less food, not 6 pounds of butter. Again, you can't make this stuff up. It's every day. So now we are on to Maha land. RFK has been happily, if you're at least in our camp, confirmed, which is fantastic. And the attacks are starting. They're going to come from all different areas. I think people that have not researched what he really believes and what he's actually said and what he's written in giant 500-page books are going to be very surprised when he starts explaining things to them. Because he's very bright. He has been in this world of what in the world is going on with our health for a long time. When it comes to policy and a lot of baseline science that has to do with health, he knows more than than most doctors, than almost all doctors. And I know from reading his books, he's taught me a ton. But of course, there's this picture. And in this picture, okay, is holding, the guy's 71 years old. There's a picture of him with his shirt off. He's totally yoked. He's with some other guy for like a selfie after a workout. And some doctor calls him a hypocrite because in his hand is an energy drink of C4. And so you can't believe anything he says because he has a drink that has something in it that's carcinogenic. And I'm like, shut up. Please shut up. The proof is in the pudding. Okay. The guy's strong as hell. He obviously lives out what he preaches because he's in spectacularly good shape. He's in better shape than most 19-year-olds, and he's 71. He's super active. He's had a super active life. He's obviously a genius. He's written tons of books. He's taken on some of the biggest corporations in the world, and now he's the director of HHS. Oh, but he has a can of energy drink in his hands, so he's a hypocrite. We're all hypocrites. Shut up. I want to see the shirtless picture of the doctor that called him a hypocrite, and we'll compare and see who's better at taking care of themselves. Because my guess is it's RFK. Just a tiny guess. So if that's all they're going to bring is that the guy drinks the occasional energy drink when he's working out, and that's a problem, this is going to be an absolutely spectacular 4 years. Holy smokes. It is going to be really amazing. I'm drinking my traditional after kiteboarding beverage, which is also makes me an unbelievable hypocrite. Red Bull and vodka, whatever. The difference, to quote Paracelsus, an ancient French physician, the difference between the poison and the cure is the dose. Put that one in your pipe and smoke it. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Oh, yeah, okay. That was a picture of when we were in Utah. We went to Park City because Park City is really cool. And we happened to stumble upon the Sundance Film Festival, which is Robert Redford's film festival because he has his own private ski mountain that he built in Utah, a few decades ago. So he has the film festival in Park City. And we did not go to any films, but we did go to an amazing distillery there. It was absolutely spectacular. And we also learned that if you're going to park in a covered underground parking area during the Sundance Film Festival, it's $60. Yep, $60. Which is good because you can get a parking spot because no one wants to spend $60. Okay, here we go. This might be a short one. I find it challenging to just riff all by myself, even though I talk to myself all the time without May here giving me crap and telling me that I'm full of it or trying to make her laugh, which is one of the greatest things in the world. I love doing that. So for meme of the week, we have and what it says is, so I've got full immunity. No, that was for Fauci. You have myocarditis. That is not fun. I had another one in here, but I think our business manager edited it. It was pretty bad. But anyways, so lots of cool stuff coming up on the show. We have next week will be Lynn Finn, who is an infectious disease physician. And we go into a moderately deep dive on a lot of seasonal things that you get to try to prevent the flu and why they don't work, as well as we talk about RSV and its origins and other things associated with that. That was really good. Tyler Pansner, if you have not listened to that episode yet, I'd really encourage you to do it because it really is amazing. Like when you think of the fact that a lot of disorders that we take for granted, like depression, anxiety, insomnia, trouble sleeping, et cetera, a lot of these are because people have mutations, metabolic mutations, which does not allow them to produce certain neurotransmitters in the levels that they need or break down other neurotransmitters or hormones or histamine or sulfur or all of these things. And then what happens is these have downstream consequences like brain fog, anxiety, all sorts of other energy, inflammation, joint pain, like on and on. And so now we're at a place in medicine where you can test and see these mutations. And then what you can do is by using different supplements or by changing diets, eliminating certain things. Like, for instance, if you produce a ton of histamine, you may want to eliminate tomatoes out of your diet because that can blow up histamine, which is super inflammatory, right? That's why we take antihistamines when we have allergies because it's so inflammatory, your nose is running and all that kind of stuff. So by just simply altering diet and altering supplements, we can radically change people's symptoms and their health. It's absolutely fascinating. And I think that the next level of this is going to be even better because as we accrue more and more data and better tests, this is where something like machine learning, AI, large language models, whatever you want to call it, could be unbelievably powerful because we feed all of this data about what people have, what their symptoms are, and then how to fix these pathways and what works and what doesn't work. And the machine's going to learn more and more. And I think that there's going to come a day sooner than most of us think where you're going to be able to do a swab of your cheek, send it in, and in a week or two, you're going to get a printout that says, avoid these foods, eat more of these foods, take these supplements, don't take these supplements. Because here's the thing that's really crazy is depending on your genetic mutations, if you're a one size fits all and you just take supplement of the month club because it's supposed to be helpful, it can actually make you worse. Because some people can't break down certain vitamins or whatever. And so we think that we're going to get healthier and feel better by taking a bunch of supplements, but you could actually be making yourself much worse, which is really interesting. So this personalized, highly individualized medicine, I think it's coming. It's not going to come from standard medication, medicine, which I think is great. I think it's going to go around the healthcare system. And I think it's going to help people eliminate a ton of pharmaceutical agents. It's also going to help us target appropriate pharmaceutical agents for certain people with certain disorders, with certain genetic makeup. I have not been this excited about anything I've seen in the healthcare world or medicine or whatever for a long time, because this actually makes sense. It explains so much. It explains why some people do fabulously well on carnivore and everything seems to get better. Their joint pain gets better. Their inflammatory problems get better. And other people may not do as well. And some people do great on on a regular, relatively high carb diet. Mick Jagger apparently he's on a low calorie, high carb diet and he exercises a ton. And the guy's rail thin and he's 81 or 82 years old and he's still performing and he's still dancing around for 3 hours. So again, don't argue with success. Like whatever he's doing is working for him. And so we're finally reaching a place where we're going to be able to explain and hopefully break down some of this tribal nonsense where you have to only be vegan or only be carnivore or only be whatever. We'll be able to take people and say, these are the people that should maybe do a ketogenic diet and they should do it forever. And these are the people that should maybe do it for a while, get their, blood pressure and their weight under control and then move on to something else. It's going to be really, really amazing. I think that there is a chance, if you want to talk about make America healthy again, I think this kind of diagnostic testing is going to be revolutionary. It was a great episode. It was like an hour and a half we spent with him. We could have talked to him for hours and hours. Like he starts pulling these strings and going down these rabbit holes, and it was absolutely amazing. So I would highly encourage that. Lynn Finn is amazing. Talking to her, a rational person who worked in infectious disease, who saw what was happening with the pandemic early, just based on her training and experience. And then to see what ensued after. That will be an episode that will not be on YouTube, but that's besides the point. We have a couple other guests booked that are great. I do not like promoting them until we have the interview in the can because stuff happens, but some really exciting stuff. We're going to continue to do DOCTALES. I have some really interesting stories, but need to bounce them off of May in real time. So we'll continue with that as well. And hopefully, very soon, like in the next 2 or 3 months, we'll have an actual studio, not just a room in our house. And that's coming soon as well. So lots of cool stuff in the BS Free MD world. Very exciting stuff. We're continuing to make some really great friends in the medical freedom movement, continue to move the needle ahead. Cannot wait to see what happens when RFK opens the can in the FDA and CDC. I think that there's corruption there that's so deep and broad spectrum and has been going on for so long that it is an abscess so filled with pus that people are not going to want to tolerate it. They're going to choose to not believe it rather than to believe how pussy it is. That's what I think. Because if you've ever lanced abscesses and been in that room, it is awful. It stinks. It's gross. It's disgusting. But it's the only way you get the infection and the corruption out. And that's what's happening. So buckle up, kids. It's going to be a crazy, for sure, 2 years as we head into the midterms. And I'm hopeful, but we'll keep you posted. Remember to listen, to rate us, give us a 5-star rating, write something in the comments. That helps a ton. And we will see you again next week. And always remember, you need to learn how to be your own best doctor, because that's what we want you to do. We want you to do your own research, to be a critical thinker, to be as healthy and as happy and as fulfilled as you can be. Also, please subscribe to our Substack. I've been doing a lot more writing. May is going to start writing again. 2 totally different ways of writing. She has much more of the emotional, personal side. She's going to share some of the struggles that she's had lately, which I think are going to be very encouraging to people. To hear somebody struggling powerfully and improving their life is an amazing thing. So subscribe to our Substack. If you don't know what Substack is, you need to learn. Go to substack.com. You can search us there and subscribe. It is an amazing resource with amazing writers. Just a great place to get a lot of really good information of varying opinions. It's just a free speech, free for all, which is exactly what we all want and need. So until next week, stay BS free and have an awesome weekend. And for you poor folks up north, light a campfire or something to warm up. Later.